Good day, everyone. I'm Rob Tatro, President and I guess founder of CMV Canada, Canadian Cmv Foundation. First time here, we're going live. Really excited about what's coming up, why we're doing this. We're doing this because June is CMV Awareness Month, and we're super thrilled with the neat stuff that's coming down the pipeline, the stuff we will be doing for CMV Awareness Month. CMV or CM virus, short for cytomegalovirus. It's a congenital birth defect. It is the #1 cause of infant disability in North America. There's some stats there running at the bottom of the page, but basically it causes a lot of damage to children, to babies that are born in Canada and North America. So we're gonna get our first guest here today, but before I bring in our guest, I'd like to just tell you a bit about CMV Awareness Month that's happening in June. So it starts tomorrow. Today is May 31st, 2020. Tomorrow morning, CMV Awareness starts. We're gonna be right on this channel here. You're either watching this live on YouTube or you're watching it on Facebook. I'm gonna ask you, if you are watching it, to take a second and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, the CMV channel. If you're watching us on Facebook, please like our page, follow our page as well. And our Instagram is CMV Canada. Our Facebook page, please, if you're a CMV parent, we have a neat contact form on our website, cmvcanada.com. Please go to the website there and complete the form. We are looking for parents, we're looking for volunteers, and we need you guys. If you are a CMV parent, we'd love to hear your story. We are doing this to eradicate the #1 cause of infant disability, and we're doing it, and we need your help. There's been a ton of progressive movement happening in 2020, and we're excited and thrilled to be telling you about that. So our guest, first time today on the CMV checkup, I'm going to bring in none other than my wife, Michelle Tetrault. There she is, right next to me.
Hello.
So Michelle, maybe you want to tell us a little bit about the story about our son and how it started and how long ago was that, and why we decided to become involved with CMV Canada. Why did you decide to create CMV Canada?
Okay, where to start? Okay, our son is already 12 years old. So I had a wonderful pregnancy. I felt great. There was no issues with my first couple of ultrasounds. I was overdue by, well, when I was, I guess, over a week overdue, I went for another ultrasound to make sure baby was doing okay. And at that point, that's when they the doctor picked up scarring in the baby's brain tissue. The doctor said, it might be nothing. It might be something more serious. I wouldn't be worried about it. You seem like your pregnancy has gone very well, but maybe, when your baby's born, we'll do some tests just to make sure it's nothing serious. So I was a little bit alarmed, but I just tried to.
This was before the baby was born.
This was before baby was born. So at that point, we had not heard about CMV. And I thought, I'm sure things are going to be okay, and just trying not to worry. Then when baby was born, he was a big baby. He was over 9 pounds. He had a big head. He looked really healthy. There was nothing alarming. He was crying. He was very healthy. But I mentioned to the doctor, when I got my ultrasound, they mentioned something about possible scarring in his brain tissue, and we were told that he might have to have some extra blood work done. So the doctor ran some tests and said, he seems really fine. You shouldn't be worried, but we'll do the test just to make sure everything's looking good. So the test came back a couple weeks later, and that's when we found out. We got a phone call telling us to come into the hospital with our son. And some infectious disease doctors told us your son tested positive for CMV virus, cytomegalovirus, and we never heard of that virus. So we were like, oh, okay, well, what is that? And should we be worried? So we were put into this little dark room that they used to test children for hearing loss, and two infectious disease doctors sat us down and explained to us what CMV was, and said to us, well, you know, it causes infant disability, it causes hearing loss is the #1 outcome of CMV, and causes low muscle tone and vision loss, and so all these really alarming factors. So we were pretty worried and upset, and we didn't know what to do. We didn't know what our next steps were. Our son got another MRI, which did again show scarring in his brain tissue. And then we had to make a really quick decision as to whether or not we should give him treatment, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So by this point, Alexandre would have been about 3 weeks old, give or take, and then the decision of whether or not to give him the PICC line ganciclovir treatment, which is it's fairly invasive, and it's a cytotoxic med, and back then they weren't able to give it orally, so we had to give it through his PICC line. So what did we do?
We sat there for hours. The doctor said, the infectious disease doctor said, okay, well, you have to make your decision like today, basically, because there's a really small window. You only have basically 4 weeks to decide on treatment. Otherwise, it's not effective or not as effective.
Yeah, back then data wasn't that clear. Now we know a lot more about treating for CMV and the timelines. And I know firsthand that there are doctors in Canada and in the US that would treat at
Later.
6 months.
Yeah.
They would treat at 6 months, 3 months, 9 months. Back then, that's what we were told. We didn't know any better. Obviously, we did the research we could, and we started treatment.
Yeah, the doctor, the infectious disease doctor, we looked at her and we said, well, if this was your baby, what would you do? And she recommended treatment. Treatment was only 10 years old at that time, so that's considered still new. So we were a little bit nervous about it. So it was a couple of weeks he'd have to be on it for over 8 weeks, I think it was at that point. And we just did what we thought was best for our son. We wanted him to have all the opportunities that he could, and it was a hard decision, but I still think we made the right decision.
Well, there's no doubt. The data is clear now. You treat. There's no doubt. The data is unequivocal, especially if he's symptomatic. And they told us that our son was symptomatic due to the fact that he had the brain calcifications and effectively the scarring on his tissue in his brain. So fast forward a couple of years, what did we decide to do with respect to the charity work?
The charity, I think we were just so...
Or maybe you could tell the story about how, what we kind of promised each other kind of when we went through this.
We wanted to save babies. We didn't want parents to have to go through what we went through. We just wanted people to be aware of what CMV was, because we didn't know what it was, and we were really upset that we didn't know what it was, and we were really upset that we weren't told about this. I taught kindergarten at the time, and I would be considered more at risk because I was a teacher working with younger kids, but I had no idea. So I was just more angry because I didn't know about the virus.
It's unacceptable. We thought it was unacceptable.
And we said, you know what, we need to spread awareness, and we need to find a vaccine for this virus. And we've been really fortunate with our son, but there's so many different outcomes.
Yeah, as you're going to find out over the next month, if you do subscribe. And by the way, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Go to our Facebook page, like and follow us there. Go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, because you are going to meet parents throughout the month of June that had different outcomes than ours. And there's a lot of parents that lose their children to CMV, and we found out about that. And we just, the promise that we made each other back then was that we were going to make a difference. We didn't know exactly what that would look like, but we knew we wanted to make a difference.
And we didn't know where to start. we started off. I started off one morning in my kitchen just phoning every single news station and radio station and saying like, I have a story for you. I need people to know about this. And then Rob came up with the idea of starting the foundation, and it just took off from there. So
Yeah, so we would have had our first. So you were doing media work. You were trying to raise awareness,
trying to raise awareness,
grassroots awareness.
Yeah, so just talking to parents and talking to our family and our friends and our neighbors and just raising awareness that way. And yeah, we managed to get in our city's paper. We in a couple of papers actually, and then we got on a news station, and that really helped us spread awareness. But we wanted to do more, so
yeah. For me, I didn't really care about the media. I wanted to hit like thousands of people. I wanted to hit like. So I was wondering, like, first of all, I want to raise money.
Yeah.
And second of all, I wanted to create something that people would talk about. So that's when we got the idea, me and Marc Fodor, to do Le Classique, which is a ball hockey tournament, a winter ball hockey tournament that we started, I think 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And we hosted that, and we decided we would donate all proceeds to CMV research. What happened is when we found out that CMV research, there wasn't a nationally recognized charity, there wasn't a nationally recognized foundation that existed. I remember I was sad, and I was like, what am I going to do? I think we had raised $3,000 or $4,000 that first event, and we were so proud of ourselves. We had raised money, but now we didn't know who to write the check to. So I remember my dad was like, quit your whining. You know, you're a lawyer. You could figure this out. You can create a charity. You can create a foundation. You're able to do this. Just do it. Get it. You know, stop pouting and do it. And he helped me a ton. Some of my lawyer buddies helped me, and we created the Canadian CMV Foundation. This would be now, I think, 2013 or 2014. We created the Canadian CMV Foundation and CMV Canada, and it is now a registered charity. But now it has been for 7 years. The goal was and is to eradicate congenital CMV infections, and the story about
spread awareness.
Yeah, well, the mission is eradication of congenital CMV infections in Canada. Now, how we're going to get there is through raising awareness, advocating and supporting for parents, lobbying for change, and funding relevant and important research initiative, either vaccine research or any other research that is relevant and important to move the needle on this. But the reason we decided to do this is because we went through, and the promise we made each other.
Yeah, for all those kids born with CMV,
and the thing is, it's not about. I always tell people it's not about our son.
No,
like he's great. He's doing fantastic.
We know there's some things, but we're very lucky.
Yeah, but it's not even about him, because we're not doing this for him. None of the dollars go to him. None of that, it has absolutely nothing to do with him. He was the catalyst that made us, because the research is not going to help him, right? Because the research is going to help the future generations, the babies that aren't yet born, our friends and families and cousins and nieces and nephews that are thinking of becoming pregnant or going to be becoming pregnant. That's why we're doing this. And that's why we need your help. So if you're watching this right now, we are launching CMV Awareness Month, which starts tomorrow, June 1st. We got follow us on YouTube, follow our Instagram, follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, follow us everywhere. We are looking for parents. So if you are a CMV parent, we'd love to hear your story. We have an executive director now. So CMV Canada has its first full-time employee, not an employee, but Kayla Keenan. So she works tirelessly to move the needle for CMV. There's a whole bunch of different avenues that are happening right now, but one is we want to hear your story. So if you're a parent out there, we'd love to hear your story. Your story is important. We want to hear your story. We'd love to do an interview like this with you if you'd like. If you'd like to share it. We also need parents from different provinces. We are proud Manitobans, Michelle and I. We live right here in sunny St. Boniface, Manitoba, the quartier français de la ville de Winnipeg. And we love it here, but I'm sure you might be from Halifax or BC or Nunavut or wherever. We'd love to hear from you. And we need parents on the ground in every province because we are advocating for change, and change is happening. So CMV is a virus. It's a virus that the mom gets. If the mom gets it for the first time while she's pregnant, the mom will then pass the virus on, transmit the virus on to baby, unborn baby, and then unborn baby, the virus will generally attack unborn baby's nervous system in a bunch of different ways. But basically, it's typically brain damage, and there could be a whole bunch of other outcomes. Hearing loss, you mentioned earlier, is the big one. It is the number one cause, non-hereditary cause of hearing loss. So not like just the number one cause of hearing loss. So is CMV. So a lot of the work that's being done right now is to try to work with the early newborn hearing screening and to tie in universal screening. So we believe that universal screening needs to happen now.
Absolutely.
So universal screening is that every single baby that is born in Canada gets screened for CM virus. And if they have CM virus, then we can treat these babies just like our son was treated.
We could help these babies.
You were mentioning to me earlier, like our son.
I mean, if he was born on time, he would have been born a healthy big baby, and he would have went under the radar. We would have had no idea. So, I mean,
we would have never known that he had brain damage.
We would have never known he had brain damage. We wouldn't have been able to provide him those therapies early on that we were able to do so because we knew of what he was born with. He may not be able to hear right now because we wouldn't have given him that treatment that he needed. So, yeah, it's just so essential, and it's a no-brainer to us that babies should be screened at birth.
And it's not just us. So as of 2019, Ontario, the entire province of Ontario is now screening every single baby, thanks to the wonderful work of some of the infectious disease, Marie Pigeon. They did this fantastic idea where they tied the universal screening to the newborn hearing screening, and they're identifying outcomes. And what we've noticed now real quickly is that there's a lot of babies that have CMV. So these babies in Ontario are now all being screened. Some wonderful doctors in Ontario doing some good work. Hopefully I get some of them on soon. I think of Jason Brophy, and I think of Dr. Airy, and I think of Jessica, who's now in Calgary. But there's just some wonderful doctors out in Ontario that are screening every single baby, and they're doing the work there. So we're not the only ones that think it's a no-brainer. It's happening in Ontario. We are working hard to get this passed in Manitoba. We have some wonderful parents from Alberta who you will meet on this channel in the next month. Lisa and Lindsay and TJ and Ollie. So they're working on Alberta. Alberta is extremely receptive, and we're incredibly thankful to have the ear of the Ministry of Health in Alberta. We've had wonderful meetings with people from Saskatchewan, people from Quebec. So the needle is moving. We just need a few more parents. We need more of you guys. If you're a parent and you're watching, we need more parents because we will win this battle. 100% sure we will win. We're not going to lose this battle. Universal screening is coming. Mark my word. We're not going to lose this. It needs to happen because it's cost effective. Dr. Soren Gant did some research. I'm going to get him on the show for sure. Dr. Gant did some research proving that it's cost effective to screen for babies. Never mind that we're saving all these lives. Never mind that these kids are now going to be able to hear. It is cost effective to screen. Like, in other words, we're putting dollars in the coffers of the provincial government. It is such a no-brainer. It's coming, mark my word. So it's cost effective. We're able to identify babies. We're able to treat babies. And not only that, parents have the right to know.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're a parent, wouldn't you want to know if your kid has an infectious disease that is treatable?
And that you can help them by providing early therapy, such as physiotherapy and speech therapy. Like, if you didn't know your child was born with these things, you might not. If you didn't know your child was born with CMV, you wouldn't necessarily get those therapies early on. It's key to get those therapies the earlier the better for their development.
And we have studies that have shown that parents that know are able to watch for CMV. They're able to watch
look
for
the
it.
signs
They
and the
watch for the
symptoms.
signs.
We know how to help those students in school too, right?
Students
so, like,
in school.
How to support them, give them the support that they need. It's just
like losing your hearing as a baby is incredibly difficult to bounce back from, because it's so much associated with cognitive development and speech, so that if you actually have a baby that doesn't hear and you don't notice till they're 2 or 3, that's a dramatically negative impact on the cognitive development of a baby. We know that intuitively. So if we know that we can screen these babies, we know that we can treat them. It is such a no-brainer, folks. It is a no-brainer, and it's coming. Yes, it's a process to set up universal screening. Yes, it's not easy. Someone's going to have to take those tests, and someone's going to have to, someone's going to have to swab the saliva test, and there's some work to be done there. But we owe it to these babies. We owe it to parents. We owe it to our society generally, because it's cost effective, and we can save these babies' lives, and we can treat them.
And it's so common. It's just
the number one cause of infant disability.
So common.
We're not talking about an obscure disease that nobody's ever heard of.
Think of all the things your baby gets tested for when they're born.
And we still believe that those are fantastic and
which
they need to
great,
happen. It's great.
It's great, and there's a reason for it. But let's which is
so
let's add to that.
Let's add to that. So we want to work with you guys. If you're parents out there, if you're not even parents, but maybe you're in any way connected to decision makers at the ministry level, and you want to help, please reach out to us. If you'd like to donate, we are a registered Canadian charity. Our dollars go towards funding relevant research, advocating for parents, and lobbying for change. So we issue tax receipts. You can go to our website and donate if that's of interest to you. If you'd like to know more about CMV and its impacts, go to our website, cmvcanada.com. If you'd like to be a part of this, if you want to advocate for us, it's kind of therapeutic, right? Would you say?
Oh yeah,
it feels
having
so good.
Support from other parents and sharing your stories, it's huge. It helps get you through.
Yeah, and for me,
it really does.
One of the things I really like. All right, I'm seeing there's some comments here from Jen and Randy. I believe I'm able to show this. Can I do this? Yes, perfect. Jen is saying hi from Calgary as well, and Jen B and Randy D, you guys are going to be. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
We're going to reach out to you. We're going to reach out to you. We're going to get your story. We'd love to hear it. My goal here is 2020 is a year of momentum. So Ontario first place universal screening ever on the planet. First place on the planet that is screening universally every single baby. I was co-chair of the Ottawa 2020 committee, where we successfully won the right to host the Public Health and Policy CMV Policy Conference, which was supposed to be held in August in Ottawa. But as you may have heard by now, there's the COVID happening, and it's a pandemic, and travel is going to be tight. So we've pushed it back a year, but that means all the specialists from the entire planet are going to come, and they're going to be coming to Ottawa, and we're going to be showcasing the wonderful stuff that's happening in Canada. Canada's a world leader when it comes to this, and we're not going to be denied this. So we're thrilled, we're pumped, we're excited. It's a year of momentum. We got Kayla working. We got all your wonderful parents that you're going to come and you're going to help and you're going to support. And I'm asking you guys to stay tuned to this channel for the rest of the month of June, either on YouTube, on Facebook. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe to our channel, and
the more voices, the better.
Exactly. So, anything else you want to add, Michelle? This was our first little attempt at a stream, and I think it worked out great.
I think so too. And
we'll be back.
Looking forward to seeing all the responses and.
We'll be back. So I know that Tuesday on this channel.
Great stories coming up.
Yes, we're going to get your great stories. Michelle and I are incredibly thankful.
Thank you so much
to all of you guys,
to the CMV community, and
stay tuned.
We're here for you. So
join us Tuesday. I believe it's 3 p.m. I'm going to be live with another parent story. I believe it's Lindsay from Calgary. So Lindsay and Ollie will be on the show. Or maybe Lindsay and Ollie. I'm not sure if they're both going to be on or not. But thank you for tuning in, guys. And stay safe out there. We will see you in a couple days. And please don't forget to subscribe, like, follow us.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.